Safari Rally Quénia, firmly established on the World Rally calendar after its return 3 years ago. A true classic. Toyota chasing their first win of the season, dominant on Safari over the years. World champion Kalle Rovanperä hoping to repeat his victory here 2 years ago.
The Safari is a special event, of course. The challenge is always to let's say, try to manage the speed between going really fast and taking care of the car and the tires. This year going in the different time of the year in the rain season. The surface what we see there on rain is the most slippiest surface you can have ever, I think, on that kind of condition. And it's so difficult, so I think if we are gonna have some proper rains there, it can be extremely tricky.
Of course, it's the most extreme event we do on the calendar in terms of how rough the terrain is. And of course there's an element in Safari of looking after the car, which doesn't happen so much with the strength of the modern car. So still in Safari there's a lot to think about, and of course we head there now in what they call rainy season. So the setup is something quite unique. Of course the car is at its highest that it is throughout the year. Naturally we have a lot of these dips and bumps and jumps, so we naturally need a lot of ride height in the car, but that also then poses the challenge that the car is up in the air, and you have to try and manage the fact that you need grip, but you also have to manage the fact that the car is so high you have to stop it rolling so much. So it's quite a difficult balance to strike between getting the grip and of course having the protection you need to survive Safari.
Elvin Evans, two-time podium finisher in Quénia, part of a dominant Toyota team on Safari. 3 straight victories, locking out the podium each year with one exception. Oit Tanak claiming 3rd place for Hyundai on the WRC's return to Africa in 2021.
First time I was there, I was, not really sure what's going to be happen. Obviously, it's so wide open there, and actually also the stages are changing a lot, from one to another. And there are actually stages which are a bit like roads, and then there are stages you are just driving on the fields for 20-30 kilometers. So the challenge is to keep the car in one piece and to not have a puncture, and to not have any kind of issue where you can lose time just because of something not related to driving.
Sometimes you don't follow the roads, you make your own road, it's hard to see where the road is going, the wreck is already challenging, you can have some really rough sections, so the change of rhythm is quite big in some of the stages. And generally the animals crossing, the nature, the locals who are excited about the WRC, and everything looks a bit different on paper and even more on reality.